Coming up next on Arizona Horizon, a divided federal court approves Arizona legislative district maps. We'll hear from advanced scholars recognized for achievements in science and engineering, and we'll learn about food being harvested in an urban setting. Those stories next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Eight, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. The National Head of Health Services for Veterans says the agency has found no evidence of corruption or of patients dying due to delays in appointments and treatment at the VA hospital in Phoenix. The preliminary review looked at allegations ranging from extended delays in care to the claim that administrators kept a secret list of patients in an effort to hide wait time information. The VA's Inspector General's office continues to investigate the allegations. And an Arizona lawmaker is defending LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling's right to make racist comments. State Senator Kelly Ward, a Lake Havasu Republican, tweeted, quote, "If you offend, I guess you should expect to be stripped of your property and banned for life." Sterling has received a lifetime ban from the NBA, and team owners are expected to strip his ownership of the Clippers. In a later tweet, Ward says that she does not agree with Sterling's beliefs, but will fight for his free speech rights. A federal court yesterday rejected a lawsuit challenging Arizona's legislative district map. The map had been targeted by Republicans who claim that the commission drew the new boundaries to favor Democrats. Jeremy Duda of the Arizona Capital-Times has been covering the story. Jeremy joins us right now. Good to see you. What exactly did this federal panel look at?
What the federal panel looked at was whether or not the Independent Redistricting Commission intentionally depopulated about a dozen legislative districts in order to give them Democrats an advantage in these races. You have 30 districts, and they have, on average, a population of, I think, about 210,000. But the majority of the Republican districts are above average. The overwhelming majority of the Democratic districts are below average. And this group of Republican activists sued in federal court and said this was for discriminatory purposes, it was for partisan purposes, it was meant to hurt Republicans and give Democrats an edge.
And thus violates equal protection for Republican voters.
Yes, the one person, one vote principle stemming from the Equal Protection Clause.
And when you say underpopulate certain districts, that would, I guess by reasoning, mean overpopulating other districts, overpopulating those districts with Republicans, correct?
Yeah, packing the basically moving Republicans out of some of these other districts and packing them into neighboring districts. And there's really three districts they're focusing on specifically. Legislative District 8 down in kind of western Pinal County or eastern Pinal County area, District 24 in Central Phoenix, District 26 based mainly in Tempe.
All right, so that was the claim. That's what the plaintiffs were arguing. What did the court decide?
The court decided that these districts can stand, and there was a variety of reasoning among these three judges. It was a very split court. This three-judge panel, there was one judge who dissented and said he thought the map should be redrawn. Two of them agreed that they shouldn't, but for somewhat different reasons. The main ruling, what it said was, well, partisanship played some role. There were some partisan motivations for why they did this to some of these districts, but they said that the predominant reason was to comply with the Voting Rights Act, and most specifically Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, which requires, or used to require, Arizona to get approval, or known as pre-clearance, from the United States Department of Justice. And Arizona had never actually gotten that on the first try for its redistricting map, so it was important to them to do that. And as one of the judges said, because there is no real set criteria by DOJ, it really encourages them to kind of overshoot the mark and get as many majority minority districts as possible.
So basically, partisanship did play a contributing factor, but the panel considered it was not the primary factor?
Yeah, and they said the primary factor was pre-clearance and Voting Rights Act compliance, which they said this is a legitimate purpose and this can stand.
Okay, so but I would imagine some would argue that a contributing factor is a factor nonetheless and didn't belong in there at all, correct?
No, absolutely. Judge Neil Wake, who was the dissenting judge, said clearly this was done with partisan motivation. You can, even if, complying with the Voting Rights Act is a legitimate thing to do in redistricting. It's a legitimate factor to use in drawing the lines, but not in underpopulating the districts like that.
It sounds like getting this pre-clearance from the Justice Department on the first try was a big deal. Why is it so important to get it on the first try?
A couple of reasons. I think in part it's kind of a psychological factor, and then there's also a more substantive factor, is that until the United States Supreme Court threw out or lifted this pre-clearance requirement last year, There was a provision in the Voting Rights Act that allowed states and other jurisdictions to get what's called a bailout, which means if you have a clean record for 10 years, you can with no rejections or complaints from the Department of Justice, you can petition the feds to get that requirement lifted. You can do it, at the city or county level, or even a whole state if the whole state has a clean record. But if you get a complaint and or a rejection of a redistricting map would count, that resets the clock for 10 years. So that would have meant 10 years henceforward, you could not bail out, and no one else, and I don't think anyone else in the state would have been able to either.
And now, again, you mentioned a 2-to-1 decision, variety of opinions here. It sounds as though one of the judges thought that the only criteria was going to be partisanship. Another kind of had this primary, secondary kind of thing. And another judge, you said the dissenting opinion, just throw the whole thing out here. So you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah, even among the two judges who formed the majority, there was some disagreement. Judge Clifton said, if it's as long as Voting Rights Act is the predominant reason, some partisanship is okay. They said partisanship was not the predominant reason. Judge Silver said, you have to show that partisanship was the only reason this was done. The sole and actual reason is how she put it. And then she said, on top of that, she didn't think the plaintiffs really properly demonstrated or established that a lot of these decisions were made for partisan reasons.
And I would imagine those opinions are important because the next time we go through this process, you don't want a bunch of folks on the panel, the redistricting panel, saying, well, we can do a little bit of hedging and fudging here by way of partisanship. They need to have some sort of levels there. Although, again, the next time they do this, a lot has changed as far as the DOJ requirements.
Yeah, almost certainly the next time redistricting comes up, we will still not be under Section 5. Congress could theoretically reenact this with new requirements, but that, I don't think anyone really expects that to happen. But what could change is that this will almost certainly be appealed, and because it's a 3-judge panel on a redistricting issue, that appeal will go straight to the United States Supreme Court. And if depending on which one of these judges they agreed with, that could set some serious precedent.
Is that what you're hearing? Is that likelihood? I mean, what kind of reaction are we getting from the plaintiffs?
I would be stunned if there was no appeal on this. They've been fighting this for 2 years, and they really want to make this point. They really want to redraw these maps.
They've been fighting this for 13 months even after trial. We finally get this decision, and it's a 2-to-1 mark here. Why so long?
Well, I think all of these disagreements probably shed some light on why it took so long. Part of it was that this Supreme Court ruling last year on the pre-clearance issue came down over the summer, and the judges came back and said, well, we want all you guys to submit some briefings on what, if any, impact that's going to have on this. And that clearly persuaded Judge Wake, who said, now that pre-clearance is not a factor, we shouldn't be looking at this at all, and so these should be withdrawn or redrawn. But then on top of that, even when you have the two judges in the majority disagreeing on so much, it kind of indicates why that takes so long. We even a few months ago, a few of us, me and a few other reporters actually ran into Judge Silver at the courthouse and asked when the ruling was coming down. She said, well, there's 3 judges.
Yes. Well, she probably had her mind made up, perhaps, then. This now helps a lot in terms of statewide legislative races because it removes that uncertainty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it removes, and even if the court had ruled that some or all these districts had to be redrawn, there probably isn't enough time to do that this year. We're so late. It's less than a month now until candidates have to file their signatures again on the ballot. Some of them have already done so. So for this year, the lines probably would have been set. But next year, or for the next election in 2016, who knows? And
I would imagine most state lawmakers have probably gone ahead and gone ahead with their plans, I should say, with the current boundaries. And if changes had to be made, so be it. But I think you'd be kind of wise to get on the ground running as soon as possible.
Yeah, and it would have been hard to get everything. You would have had to call the commission back. They would have had to get all their work done in time, within a very short time frame.
Last question. This is one of many challenges to what the Redistricting Commission did regarding drawing political maps. I know that the congressional maps, that has been challenged. It seems like that's bottled up. So what do we know about that? And what do we know about the idea of a commission being challenged for doing this at all?
Well, there's 2 other lawsuits that are still outstanding. The one you just mentioned is in Superior Court, is challenging the congressional districts. Basically, that alleges that the Independent Redistricting Commission did not properly follow the criteria that are set out in the Arizona Constitution for how they're supposed to draw these. The last briefings on that were in August, and we just haven't seen anything on that since then. It seems like it's really languishing and no one's really sure when it's going to start moving forward again. The other one, this is a lawsuit filed by the legislature alleging that the Independent Redistricting Commission actually lacks authority under the United States Constitution to draw congressional districts. They say that the elections clause of the Constitution guarantees those rights to the state legislature, and that when they say that, they mean legislature.
Yes.
They lost that in federal district court. That's now being appealed to the Supreme Court.
All right, so it's over, kind of, sort of, at least for now.
For now.
All right, Jeremy, great stuff. Good to have you here.
Thanks a lot, Ted.
Get the inside scoop on what's happening at Arizona PBS. Become an 8 Insider. You'll receive weekly updates on the most anticipated upcoming programs and events. Get the 8 Insider delivered to your email inbox. Visit azpbs.org to sign up today.
Science Foundation Arizona named 4 PhD candidates and early career faculty for its prestigious Bisgrove Awards, Scholar Awards, which are designed to attract and retain top science and engineering talent. Here to discuss the awards is William Harris, President and CEO of Science Foundation Arizona. And also joining us are 2 of the award recipients, Dr. Muhammad Murtaza, an early career scholar at the Translational Genomics Research Institute, and Rachel Rao, a postdoctoral scholar at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Good to have you all here. Thanks for joining us. Bill, we'll start with you, this Bisgrove Scholar Program. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about a program that I hope will be like the Rhodes Scholars in 20 years. Science Foundation Arizona started this program 4 years ago, named it after Jerry Bisgrove, the individual who made a major investment in Science Foundation to help us start. And he wanted us to help attract real talent to Arizona, but he wanted to be the best talent in the world.
And to do this, the awards do what?
The awards support really outstanding people for 2 years in their career to get them started and hopefully planted in Arizona for the long term and make a difference in Arizona.
And these are folks who might have started their scholarships and their intellectual career, their careers, period, elsewhere or here in Arizona?
Anywhere in the world.
And it doesn't matter.
We want the talent.
And you want to keep them here,
it,
too.
you bet. And so we have examples here.
We sure do. Mohammed, you're not going to be working with TGen. Talk about what you are going to be doing with TGen.
Sure. So what we're trying to do is really develop a new kind of blood test for cancers. So, and this is different from every blood test that you've seen so far because it doesn't look at the proteins that are excreted into the or shed into the blood, but actually DNA fragments.
And I was reading up on this. This is circulating tumor DNA analysis.
Yep, absolutely.
What does that mean?
Right. So we've known since about 70s or 80s now that cancer is a disease which is driven by genetic changes in the DNA. Now, every cell, when it dies or divides, sheds fragments of its DNA into the bloodstream. And if it's a cancer cell, then it sheds the mutated cancer genome into the bloodstream. And so what we're trying to do is look at that DNA in circulation and try and see whether we can identify mutations from cancer directly by looking at blood instead of a biopsy.
So basically looking at specific DNA to identify what's going on.
Absolutely. And then if you can do it from blood, if we can show you can do it from blood, the beauty of this is that you can repeat it without the need for another biopsy later on.
And this could lead to what, like DNA-based cancer blood tests?
Absolutely. That's what the eventual aim is, yes.
Wow, I want to get back to that in a second here. But Rachel, now you're working with Phoenix Children's Hospital. This sounds like traumatic brain injury, which we've been hearing a lot of in the news recently. Talk to us about what you'll be doing there at PCH.
Yeah, so I was recruited with Dr. Jonathan Lifshitz. Arizona had a need for brain injury research in Arizona. And they moved us, our entire lab came from the University of Kentucky, and we came here to start research. And so I work with the Children's Hospital, but the project itself was identified in veterans. They found that veterans were coming in long-term, much later after their concussion, and that they were having problems with hormones. Different hormone levels weren't where they needed to be. And so they identified us as a partner on this project because it's also very understudied in the pediatric population, which is where a majority of concussions occur, is in children.
Yes.
And we're doing that together with the University of Arizona College of Medicine, Phoenix. So all three institutions in Arizona have recognized that after a brain injury, there are changes in hormones. So your endocrine system, where your hormones are produced, there's problems with it, and we're all going to come together and work on this project.
I find this fascinating here. Endocrine dysfunction in post-brain injury. I mean, for us laymen out here, what exactly does that mean? Does that mean when you take a blood test, you see certain hormone? Does that suggest someone who doesn't know they have post-traumatic brain injury might have it?
So what it is just long-term, years after you've had a concussion, you have problems with weight gain, or you have problems with cortisol, which is something that you produce as a stress response. So basically, it's something that should be in a normally present. There's changes in it after brain injury, but it's really long-term.
So is this the kind of idea where you can diagnose, make it easier to diagnose a post-traumatic brain injury, make it easier to treat? Both?
So the idea, what we're really interested in, is being able to treat it. So because it identifies itself so late, so long term, what they want to be able to do is see, with our model, we're going to look at it, set a model up, and be able to identify when is the problem happening.
Yes.
We see it much later, but when does the problem happen? Because if we can find when it happens, you can do hormone replacement therapy, for instance, would be a therapy that you could go in if you know when to start and where to start. So we're really starting from just the ground up. When is this happening? Why is it happening? And what can we do to give a better quality of life to individuals that have suffered from a brain injury?
And Bill, I'll get to you in a minute, but we're having a good conversation here, so I don't want you.
I think you're doing a good job.
Yeah, what's that?
I'm learning a lot.
Mohammed, I mean, what got you started in this line of work, and specifically with this DNA analysis of tumors? Was there an aha moment?
Right. So this is similar work from what I've pursued during my PhD at the University of Cambridge in England. So that's where I was just before coming here. And I think there is just there's still a lot of problems to be solved before this test can make it to the clinic. There's a variety of different applications, but it's just very attractive to see that you can then somehow monitor cancers in a very personalized manner. Which is just a very attractive feature of what we are trying to do.
And I would imagine it's somewhat attractive to see a facility like TGen and know that you can work in conjunction with them.
Oh, absolutely. So this the program I'm setting up is sort of based half at TGen and half at Mayo Clinic, and it's in Scottsdale.
Yes.
And it's really using the genomics facilities, which are really state-of-the-art at TGen, and working with patients from Mayo Clinic to make this happen.
You see yourself staying in Arizona a while?
I think so. I mean, things are going quite well at the moment, and
Yeah, all right.
why not?
That's what Bill wants to hear over here. And as far as getting you interested in post-traumatic brain injuries and this endocrine system, was this something that you had targeted, something that interested you specifically, or something you discovered along the way?
I think that I just discovered it along the way. When I first started out, I was actually looking at sleep, whether or not you should sleep after concussion. I did most of my doctorate degree on that, which is a very acute response to brain injury. And so after I got to look at something that happens immediately, changes in sleep, I really wanted to grow in where I'm at in my career and start looking at something that's a much more long-term consequence. And I think something that's really unique to Arizona is that all these institutions want to work together.
Yes.
As he said, he works with TGen and the Mayo Clinic, and I work with the VA, the Children's Hospital, and the University of Arizona College of Medicine, because I think for research science in particular to be successful, it has to be collaborative, not competitive. So Arizona does a good job of letting everyone come together and work for one common cause.
So with that in mind, you see yourself sticking around Arizona
Absolutely.
a while? Okay.
Absolutely.
Bill, and she did mention this collaborative effort. That is so important, and especially if it attracts folks like this, it's even more important.
Yeah, well, what I wanted to comment on is that Mohammed has already got a medical degree, and he's going to be getting his PhD degree. And having that kind of educated person coming from Pakistan, from Cambridge, one of the best universities in the world, then over here. And then you have a young scientist working on the brain who grew up in a very rural part of Kentucky. She got a little bit of an accent.
A little bit, just a little bit.
I understand that accent because I'm from the South. And she grew up, many of the kids in Arizona grew up in very rural areas where you're not expected to even go to high school. She beat the odds and did everything.
And so again, these are the kinds of folks that the Bisgrove Scholars targeting, hoping will stay here, certainly while they are here, will make a difference.
Well, make a difference. Then we've got the universities, we've got TGen, we've got the other laboratories helping to recruit and bring the talent, and they compete for these positions. So this is a terrific thing that our board is very, very heavily involved in, and they're excited by this as well.
And real quickly, Bisgrove Scholars every year,
Every year.
Every year.
This is the fourth year.
Fourth year. All right, well, congratulations to all, and good luck as well with your research. This is important work, and it's good to have you here doing that work. Bill, good to see you again.
Thank you very much, Ted.
Thank you.
Appreciate being here.
ASU is home to a unique group of volunteers, and as producer Shauna Fisher and photographer Steve Snow show us, some of the volunteers on the Tempe campus are putting their green thumbs to good use.
Not in an orchard, but in the middle of ASU's Tempe campus. Miles is part of an all-volunteer program run by Deborah Thurkill.
Campus Harvest is a program here at ASU that we harvest everything on campus, from our dates, our sour oranges. No one goes hungry on our campus.
The entire 750-acre campus is an urban garden with an edible landscape, all available to the students. It was the vision of the former ASU president, Laddie Coor. For Miles, the concept behind an edible campus was a welcome one.
Coming from out of state, I really, when I first got to Phoenix, and especially ASU, all I saw was desert, and it seemed sterile to me. Nothing grew, and it was just empty.
Miles soon learned there was more growing here than he realized, including date palm trees.
ASU is unique in that we're in the Sonoran Desert and we can grow these date palms, and that is so unique to this area.
ASU's groundskeeping crew harvests the dates that grow on 80 trees throughout the campus. Volunteers package them, and then they're sold at campus bookstores and farmers markets. They're also used in ASU's dining halls. Nearly 5,000 pounds of dates are harvested in a single season. Campus harvest extends beyond the trees.
In my plot right now, I have Brussels sprouts, beets, and carrots.
Miles and about a dozen other students have their own gardens growing on the south side of the Social Sciences building.
Feels good to be a farmer. It's almost like a spiritual experience for me. You get the dirt under your fingernails and you make something, and it's a really wonderful experience.
The students are given an 8 by 10 foot plot and can plant whatever they want: peppers, squash, even herbs. The only requirement, they have to maintain their own garden. They're also free to do what they want with the fruits of their labor. They can sell the veggies at farmers markets or to ASU's campus dining. They can give them to friends or keep them for themselves. Bianca Zaital, who is a biology major, sees this as a chance to experience firsthand what she studies in the classroom.
When I walk around campus and I see the variety of plants growing, edible, non-edible, it makes me happy to see that there is this sort of integration of flora and people. Being able to see where your fruit is coming from, especially the dates, which are sold on campus, it kind of creates this sense of unity in that you know the origins of your food, and so you can appreciate where it comes from.
Miles, who spends most of his day on a campus the size of a small city, relishes the opportunity to do something with and for his community.
We're growing it, we're maintaining it, we're eating it. It's staying here, it's staying in our community, it's local. We know the quality of the food, and it's just a wonderful experience to know that you're supporting your classmates and your friends and feeding each other.
If you would like to volunteer for harvesting, just head to the program's Edible Campus website for a calendar of events. Thursday on Arizona Horizon, we'll discuss the push for increasing child care services as a way to prevent child abuse. And we'll talk with music and songwriting local musician Roger Klein, very popular musician. Roger Klein in studio Thursday evening, 5:30 and 10 on Arizona Horizon. That's it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great evening.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of 8, members of your Arizona PBS station. Thank you.